A couple of weeks ago, a coworker in my office sent around an invitation for a ladies' outing, which ended up being attended by only 2 of us. You gotta love when that happens. But Claire and I both thought that it sounded worthwhile, and so we decided to go anyway. And we weren't disappointed. So what we attended was a play reading of Reginald Rose's drama, 12 Angry Men. And he originally wrote it in 1954 as a teleplay, but then readapted it in 1955 for the stage, and then since then it's been adapted again several times for film.
One man is dead, another man's life is at stake. If there's a reasonable doubt in your minds as to the guilt of the accused, a reasonable doubt, then you must bring me a verdict of not guilty. Now, if, however, there's no reasonable doubt, then you must, in good conscience, find the accused guilty. However you decide, your verdict must be unanimous.
The original version of the play was written for an all-male cast, not as an act of deliberate misogyny.
Not possible.
But the main characters of the play are 12 jurors, and it being 1954, it was still 19 years until women gained the legal right to serve on a jury in all 50 states.
What's the matter with you guys?
The weekend of April 5th through 8th, productions and play readings of 12 Angry Men performed by 12 Impassioned Women were put on across the country in high schools, universities, law schools, community and regional theaters by and as part of a wider project called 12,000 Voices, which aims to have the play performed 1,000 times across the nation. There's 12 main parts and 1,000 performances, thus the 12,000 Voices. It took me a while.
It's these kids, the way they are nowadays.
But the driving force behind the project is to empower women across the country to get more involved on a local and national level with voter registration and engagement. So to explain, the play itself is a courtroom drama of a jury considering the facts in a homicide trial, with a wider takeaway of, as the 12,000 Voices Project puts it, the power that a single individual can have when speaking with conviction in our judicial system. I can't say that word.
An ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
This was the first time I've ever seen the 12 Angry Men, and even though it was just a play reading and not a full-scale production, I was really impressed, and it is a really powerfully written work with an impactful message, which I think bears consideration and application beyond the courthouse. In the play, and spoiler alert here, but a single juror argues for the innocence of the defendant and ends up challenging the assumptions of the other 11 who are convinced of his guilt.
Boy, oh boy, there's always one.
And I can think of countless real-life situations where a single person speaking out of conviction can make those around them aware of their snap judgments or, inaccurate opinions.
That must be annoying.
And I do recognize that being willing to stick out your neck and be that single voice of dissent takes a lot of courage, but I do think that it's absolutely vital to the checks and balances of any human institution. And of course, a community like the Bruderhof is a human institution, albeit based on a heavenly rather than human fealty. But we do still absolutely rely on each individual person being willing to raise their voice and help steer the compass in the right direction. Anyway, those were just some of my thoughts after having seen 12 Angry Men performed by 12 Impassioned Women. And I'm sure voter registration is great as well, but I have to say these other thoughts are sort of what stuck with me since having watched it.
This isn't a game. Did you see him?
Hey.
Oh, the nerve.
All right, listen.
The absolute nerve.
All right, forget it. It's not important. You
This
know what I
isn't a
mean?
game.
No,
It doesn't
calm
matter.
down.
Who does he think he is?
All right, I'm
Come on,
telling you,
look.
don't